Hey, what's up you guys? It's Zach with PCBros, and today I'm gonna show you how to build this budget gaming PC and break down the specs as well as benchmark after to show you what this thing can do. So let's jump right into it, y'all, and build ourselves a budget gaming PC. Okay, so before we get into building, let me go through all the specs and show you what this PC is all about. So first up, we have the CPU, the Ryzen 5 5600X with 6 cores and 12 threads. This is a great budget option because it is around that $100 mark, and it pairs nicely with some pretty decent GPUs. We're cooling the CPU with the ID Cooling SE214XT ARGB tower. This tower cooler is super easy to install, so if you're new to PC building, this is a great choice for that, and it keeps the CPU nice and cool for more demanding titles. Speaking of GPUs, we are rocking the XFX Speedster RX 7600 8GB of GDDR6. This thing is pretty sweet and still pretty powerful for the price. And for the motherboard, we have got the ASRock B550M HDV. This is a pretty budget motherboard, but gets the job done for what we need to do. And for the storage, we're rocking 5 12GB of super fast NVMe M.2 SSD. These are also really cheap too. This is also one of the parts where you can easily upgrade. With the RAM, we are doing 16GB of DDR4 RAM, so 2 sticks of 8. This is the Clev Bolt X. We've used these quite a bit, and for budget RAM, these are pretty reliable and fits well with the aesthetic of this build. For the power supply, we have got the Sigotep 650 watt 80 plus gold. This is one of our favorite budget power supplies. Very reliable, very affordable, a great option when building PCs like this. And all of these parts will be housed in the Thermaltake View 170 TG. These do come with ARGB fans and overall has that modern PC case aesthetic, that like fishbowl look that we love. Now, one thing we have to note for this build, you will need an ARGB hub that goes on the back. These are really cheap. They're about $5 or so on Amazon. I'm gonna have a link down below. That is how we are going to plug in all the fans and make sure we can control the RGB. All right, now that we have gone through all the specs, let's get to building. First up on the game test here, we're going to be testing Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to be running the test in 1080p and then another one in 1440p, running the same settings to show you the difference and show you what this PC can do in both of those resolutions. So in 1080p, Cyberpunk on medium settings is looking very strong. You can even go up to high settings if you want. You will be getting lower frames per second, so if you care more about the performance, I would stay around medium for this game and any more demanding games like this. So you can stay around that 100 range and even a little bit higher, like 120. You see that throughout the benchmarks here, that the frame rates stay pretty consistent, but then you'll see where in some of the situations where it can dip. So when making budget PCs like this, even though it is powerful, we want to maximize the settings to make sure you get the most enjoyable experience out of your games. And for 1440p, we are staying with that medium preset, and we see a large difference in frames here. This is still an enjoyable, playable experience. Keep in mind on any of these games, we want to, again, make sure we maximize the settings here. 1440p is very doable on the system, especially with less demanding games. I've chosen more demanding games for this section of the video to show what this PC can really do if you push it. And for the price, I'm not upset with this performance at all, especially if you're just getting into PC gaming. This is still very acceptable 1440p gaming. Now moving on to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 in 1080p. Now a little disclaimer here, the gun wasn't loading in for me for some reason, I tried to restart my PC. I tried to verify all the files on the game, and nothing was really fixing it. So at this point, I just accepted it because all the other benchmarks I did were running fine and I didn't see any issues. So that's why we're going to get this funny little benchmark here where he's not holding a gun. We're still getting over 100 frames here in 1080p, and everything looks really smooth. The thing that I like about Black Ops versus Warzone, it is a lot better optimized for situations like this, and this benchmark tool is really nice just to get an idea of what you can do. Obviously, if you're playing Warzone, it's going to take a lot more to load, bigger maps, a lot more players. So keep that in mind too, is just because this Call of Duty was running pretty well, that doesn't mean all of them will. So again, this is where setting optimization is going to be key for budget builds like this. And moving on to 1440p, we see a drop in frames, but pretty much the same situation as Cyberpunk. Is you will get that drop in frames, but it's still a playable experience. If you want to play in 1440p, not necessarily high refresh rate, but you just want to have those higher textures, I personally, looking at these benchmarks, would rather do the higher refresh rate 1080p. It was a lot smoother overall, but in some games 1440p will run and be just fine. So hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you're building a budget gaming PC, hopefully this helped you lead you in the right direction for what you are looking for in a budget PC like this. If you're interested in building this exact same one, the links will be down below. And if you're looking to just get this exact same PC and not looking to build it, want it done with Windows, drivers, and a 1-year warranty, PCBros will be selling this PC too. Of course, there will be the build fee applied, so it will not be as cheap as if you built it yourself. But if you're not interested in that, check the link down below as well for PCBros. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.